Hey folks, we're on the War Thunder dev server for the upcoming Kings of Battle update, and I gotta tell you, I didn't expect a dev server drop today, so this kind of got me by surprise. We are taking a look at the F-111A. This has been long awaited by the War Thunder community, myself included. Let me show you what's going on here. This is in the tech tree, down at battle rating 10.3 and rank 7 below the F-105. So right-hand column, you can see the stat card there. And again, disclaimer, this is all, dev server work in progress, so any of this might change. Who knows, maybe they'll move it somewhere else or whatever. We're going to take a quick look at a couple things before we fly it out. First, we got a nice glitch with a cannon suspended under the wing for some reason. That's always fun. The radar. The AN APQ-113, we've got a basic look-down all-aspect mode. That's really about it for advanced features. I-band, as expected. For the ballistics computer, we've got the CCIP for rockets and bombs, the CCRP for the bombs, notably no CCIP for cannons, so that's something to know about, especially since this thing can take a bajillion gun pods, which I'll show you in a moment. Radar warning receiver goes up into the J-band, so that is a good thing to see. And of course, these engines are monstrous. Let's take a look at the weapon loads. So this thing can take an absolutely ridiculous amount of bombs and rocket pods if you take the Mighty Mouse. Couple of caveats to know about. These three innermost selection points represent the internal bomb bay. So, like, if you take the cannon, you're going to forfeit these two bombs or this pair of AIM-9Bs. That is real-world accurate, although in reality, they almost never fitted this cannon operationally. You can take bullpups. You get the AGM-12B for your manual command line of sight guided air-to-ground missile. I'm not a huge fan of the manual command missiles, but you can take 4 of them, so if you're good with those, you'll enjoy this plane. You can take 4 20mm gun pods, so that's special. Almost 500 frickin' rockets. That's crazy. Or up to 8 AIM-9Bs. So if you're able to make the AIM-9B work consistently for you, and if you're decent with this, you can fly this out like as an air superiority fighter, as crazy as that is. Even though, it's still going to get trounced in dogfights against a lot of the stuff in this BR range. Anyway, I have 1 or 2 quick things I want to show you in a test flight before we take this into a match. Hey folks, so we're in a test flight with the F-111A. And I've got a couple of things I want to show you real quick. First, the countermeasures. Very limited quantity, but you've got them, so that's something. You're also going to notice I've got some bombs loaded. When you take weapons on the 4 outermost wing pylons, it's going to block your wing sweep mechanism. You're going to see I'm getting that error message on the bottom there, payload blocks wing sweep control. I believe that is a technically accurate detail, that the 4 outermost pylons did not have the rotation mechanism, but I'm going to have to check that. I actually know a guy who was a weapons systems officer, a right-seater on an F-111 back in the day, so I'm going to be having a conversation with him before I do the full review after the update goes live, but yeah, I believe that's an accurate detail, and importantly, even after you drop all of your ordnance, it's still going to block wing sweep control. Because you're not ditching the pylons, you're just ditching the ordnance. So that's something to be aware of. I have one other thing I want to show you real quick with the air-to-air missiles. It's going to take me a second to set this up. Okay, so we've got this MiG-15 out in front of us, and I want to fire a Sidewinder at him. So it's going to be a little difficult to show you this with the camera angles, but so I've got tone, and I hit my button to fire, and it opens the bomb bay instead of firing the missile. So you're going to have to wait a second and hit your button twice in order to actually fire. Or just fly around with your bomb bay open if you want to use the Sidewinders in the internal bay. So that is going to be an important caveat to know about. All right, anyway, let's take this out into a mission. Okay, so we're out in a match with the F-111, and a couple of things I found. The CCRP is not yet functional on the dev server, so you're going to see me do some more simplistic bombing, but just know that I did try to use the CCRP. Now, I've taken a bomb load of 12 750-pound bombs and 4 Sidewinders and the cannon. I think this is going to end up being a very popular loadout with this plane. This should be enough bombs to easily destroy at least one of these bases, and still have some Sidewinders left over for air combat and self-defense, and of course the cannon. Now, you're also going to notice I took an enormous amount of fuel. I'm currently at an hour 15. I actually took off with a full load of like an hour 40. So, thirsty engines. The F-111 had a reputation for being incredibly fast out in real life, and it's kind of good to see that that's carried over into the game. I got out here real quick. I mean, I think this plane is going to be able to really be one of those guys who has the pick of the litter when it comes to base targets. All right, let's check out the damage. I'm sure that's going to be enough. Yeah, easily enough. I mean, this thing is easily going to have enough ordnance to take out 2 bases, I think, without any trouble. And, ooh, look at that. Yeah, we're turning pretty good. So I think we've got really strong potential for multi-role sort of gameplay with this jet. You know, my first impression, I actually flew it out in a couple of matches before this, before I realized I needed to take more gas and trying out some other weapon loads. I'm going to try and tangle with this F5. He should be able to crush me, but I think this will be a good demonstration. If this guy decides to turn in and fight me, he really should be able to just totally steal my lunch money. The one real advantage I have is an absolutely enormous amount of thrust. And combat flaps! I love combat flaps in a variable geometry plane. And what was that guy doing? Alright, that was a good flare. Alright, he's competent. That's good. Yeah, he really should have turned in on me before that. That reversal for him should not have been so difficult. All right, let's take this IL-28 real quick. Oh, come on, there we go. All right, he's coming in for guns. Yeah, again, the F-111, not a super high-performance air superiority fighter. You know, if you're going to want to use this for air combat, my first hot take, based on a couple of matches here, is that it's mostly going to be a boom and zoomer. All right, let's jump into one more match. Hey, so my apologies. I wanted to show you a second match going out with a dedicated air superiority loadout, gun pods and Sidewinders, but my dev server client keeps crashing on me every time I get into a match. So I'm going to have to troubleshoot that and skip the second match. Normally on these dev server first impressions, I try to show you 2. So I'm sorry, it's only going to be 1 this time. I'm having some technical difficulties, but I wanted to get you this video out as quickly as I could. My first impression hot take on the F-111 here, this is going to be an incredibly effective ground attack grinder. You know, if you like to do ground attack in air battles, this is going to be an incredibly good option, you know, for those sort of mission profiles. In close air support, TBD. It's at a BR range where I think it could be pretty decent, even without guided air-to-ground weapons. You know, not really considering the bullpups. Those are very situational. And in terms of air combat, well, you know, I mean, against something like an F4 that's full of gas, I might not do so bad. Against something like a MiG-21 with half-empty tanks, probably going to be a problem. Anyway, though, that's the F-111A out here on the dev server. Definitely keep an eye on the channel. I will absolutely have a full review of this after the patch goes live. As always, thanks for watching.